What's going on, guys? This is Kit Williams here, and this is my theater collection. So, we're going to start with the actual Broadway shows that I've either watched or streamed, and move into the rest of my community theater playbills. So, I don't see too many videos talking about these. It's always about the money, 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 but Anyway, so the first one we have here is How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Love this show. Had Dan Radcliffe in it. Um, it's just great. It's one of my two favorite musicals, along with The Music Man. It's just great. In high school, we did a show called How to Succeed in High School Without Really Trying, which has nothing to do with the show except for the title. And but yeah, so we did that, and then we watched the Robert Morris film, and then we ended up going to Broadway itself to watch the Dan Radcliffe play, and it was amazing. It was a fantastic first Broadway experience, and it really sparked my love for it. So next we had the Avenue Q closing performance on off Broadway. Love this. I love how unique it is. For one, like, it doesn't say Playbill New World Stages or anything like that. Like, it's just neat. Um, but I love Avenue Q. It's one of my favorite shows. It's one of my favorite musicals, and it's Avenue Q. You can't go wrong with it. It's so fantastic. But I really wanted to watch this before it closed, and it just so happened to land on the weekend of my birthday. So we went to New York for the weekend, and we watched the closing performance of Avenue Q. And we watched some other shows while we were there, but that was mainly what we went for. Next, we have Falsettos. I'm pretty sure that this is the version you can find on Broadway HD, the same cast, the 2016 version. Not too sure, however. I try to, when I can stream a show, I try to get the accurate cast. This is a very funny show. I like Falsettos a lot. King Kong. This was one we saw while we were in Broadway on that summer weekend. I wanted to see this just for the technical marvel of it alone, the giant Kong statue, the giant cobra, and everything like that. And it delivers on that. For being a spectacle, it delivers. For being a play, it's kind of mediocre, but, it's, what can you do? Uh-oh. Whoops. I turned my flash on by accident. So, it's kind of mediocre in that way, but as a technical marvel, it's all right. I don't really think the show will come back anytime soon, which is a shame. Next, we have Beetlejuice. I mean, it could tour, I suppose. It could tour. Next, we have Beetlejuice. This was great. This is going to be a classic of theater. I'm pretty sure this is going to come back. If it doesn't, it's going to get cult status, bar none. Like, this was a wonderful experience. But I knew that The Music Man was going to be replacing this, so while I was there, I was like, well, I might as well see that because I'm going to be back for The Music Man. And then I was going to come back and watch Beetlejuice again when I came for the Music Man. I had actually planned for that in October, and then COVID, of course, shit on our plans. So it's okay. I'm glad I got to see it before it closed. Next, we have Puffs, the musical, or not musical. What am I talking about? This is a very adorable. I first discovered this on Broadway HD streaming. And of course, I went out and bought the Playbill, and I bought a signed version because I found it, and it was very, very reasonably priced for that. But this is great. It's a parody of Harry Potter, obviously, that revolves around the least known house. Even though I'd say as a Ravenclaw, we have that honor. Our shit's not even the right color for the merchandise. We don't even get the right mascot. We don't even have named members except for Cho Chang, and she was horrible, and Marietta Edgecombe. But anyway, my Harry Potter fandom part is showing. But this is a very funny show. I really like this. And then we have Kathy Rigby, signed by Peter Pan with Kathy Rigby, signed by Kathy Rigby. I'm not a huge Peter Pan fan, I'll be honest. But this is a show we're seeing at least once, and you can stream it on Broadway HD, so you should do that. This is the 2000 version, so again, I try to get accurate playbills to the shows that I watch. And then we have Shrek the Musical, which was on Netflix for a time. I believe it still is. And this has Brian D'Arcy James as Shrek and Sutton Foster as Fiona. And again, yeah, accurate playbill to the show. This is a fun show, too. It's really good. This is actually the second time I watched this, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, for actual playbills. All right, now for my actual binder, we have the scripts of shows that I've been in. So we have a couple of those. We have my sister's high school graduation, more scripts. This was a newspaper clipping from the first show I was ever in, so of course I'm going to keep that forever. You can tell how old some of this stuff is with how weathered and worn it is. Like, this was a white newspaper at one point. Anyway, so we have two things in this town that revolve around theater. The first is the William Inge Theater Festival, which you can see on my hat here. And that is a festival in honor of William Inge, a local playwright who died in the 70s or so, but he was a Pulitzer Prize winner. He was fantastic. And we do a tribute to him by inviting a famous playwright out here every year. But this is Neowalla, which we open. It's a Halloween festival that we open with a musical, and we've done this for as long as I can remember. We've done it before I even got here, because I think 2004 was Little Shop of Horrors, which I would have loved to have seen. But this was the first one I ever saw, which was Lil Abner, which, I'll be honest, don't really remember. I mean, this was 2007, so I would have literally been half my age, or even more than half. Like, let's see, 2007, yeah, I would have been like 13 or 14, and I'm 27 now, so, or 28, yeah, turning 28. So next we have Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Andrew Lloyd Webber seems to be kind of hit and miss with people that I talk to about it, but this was the one that made me go, okay, yeah, I basically went to these at the time to just have something to do. We'll get into, my actual, love of community theater here soon. So I don't really remember a lot of this. However, during the pandemic, this was streamed, and I did watch that stream. I'd like to get my hands on a playbill for it, but, what can you do? You can't get playbills for every show you watch. So I remember a little bit more about it than I do about Little Abner, but this is a good show. Thoroughly Modern Millie, I don't really, again, remember much about it, so we'll move on. The Music Man, I do remember this one, though. Love this. So this was right around when I graduated. This was 2010. Same time, though, or not really, same time, but, in that area. 1 or 2 years before. But this was the first musical that I was like, okay, yeah. And then we ended up watching it again in, for some reason, my music theory class. We watched the Robert Preston movie, and then we watched the movie version in my theater arts class. So I watched the movie twice, and I have continued to watch the movie because I love that movie. I love this show. This is probably my favorite musical of all time. This is number one. If it had to be three, it'd be Music Man, Avenue Q, How to Succeed. I love the Music Man, and I hope this comes back because we've done duplicates before. Oh man, I love the Music Man. So then we have Willy Wonka. There's not a lot I can say about this. It was good, but it's Willy Wonka, so it's a classic. So here we go. This was the first time I was ever on stage, and you can see that this play has been through a lot. I used to store these in a warehouse thing, like a storage locker, and then that got water damaged, so a lot of these got water damaged. But as you can see, we have It's Not Me, It's You by Dawn Zolidis, which that was what I was in. And then you have The Search for Sydney, and then her headlining class, How to Succeed in High School Without Really Trying. You can't really tell really anything left. You can't, the dates, it's just, man. But yeah, I was in that. It was fun. Then we have The Odd Couple. A buddy of mine's dad was in it. I believe that's him. Sad that I don't remember. But yeah, that's him. So he was the rough and tumble one of The Odd Couple. This is a great show. It's definitely worth your time if you can catch it, if you can find it. And I do believe that these have been in here for so long, I don't really want to take them all out. But yeah, see, they're just coming out as one. Come here. But this one actually kind of fits the old Playbill format because it has the ads and everything. A lot of my community playbills don't do this. See, there you go. So a lot of my playbills are literally just one page. You open it, there's a cast list, and then a note from the director, and then maybe some other stuff, and then on the back you have the upcoming stuff. But other than that, Not really. Let's try to get this thing back in here. Oh, goodness me. Please, please, please cooperate. I don't want these to get damaged any more than they were in that water flood. Okay, so Death Trap. I know this looks weird, but this is just how the playbill looks. Like that stain is part of the design. So this is a great show. I believe there is a YouTube video with Michael Caine using scenes from Death Trap to instruct people on how to act, and those are worth checking out. But so is this. So I need to backtrack a little bit. This was for the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival. When I went to college, this was what sparked the love of theater. I mean, combined with the fact that I had just gone to Broadway and saw How to Succeed and been on stage, and then I went to college, and this is where it started. This is where I got involved. This is where I, started doing stage production, stage management, writing, because I like being behind the scenes more than I like being on the stage. I don't like people looking at me. But yes, Death Trap is a fantastic show, and this was the first show that we watched at that festival, and these remain like my favorite, like Here to Here remain my favorite packet of shows. Just really good memories. Oh, see, look, that band doesn't really snap shut anymore, so they don't fit as well. The American Plan by Richard Greenberg. I love this. I love this so much that I went and bought a physical version of the play to read because I wanted to see, the shave and haircut monologue that he does about his father's suicide. I wanted to read it and I wanted to memorize it because it was just so profound and hit me so hard. And I love this. This was one of my favorite plays I've seen, period, out of all of these. The American Plan sticks out as one of my favorites. And and that's saying something, because some of these I don't really remember anything about them, and then others I remember them being terrible. But then there are the few gems that I just adore that make it all worth it, and The American Plan is one of them. This is an amazing play. It really is, and maybe I was spoiled by the production because it was such a high quality, well acted production, almost union level. These were college seniors, and they were a 4-year university, so of course they're going to know their crap, So, The American Plan. Three Sisters by Anton Chekhov, also amazing. For one, I just love how this playbill is designed. I'm a sucker for the whole autumn aesthetic, but this was amazing. They actually built the mansion on the big stage. Like, the whole stage was like a mansion dollhouse set. It was amazing, and it had period-accurate furniture, period-accurate props. The suits were great. I mean, it wasn't just kids in trench coats going, "Oh, duh, I'm speaking in Russian accent." Like, it was fantastic, and I love this play. I actually have a book of all of Chekhov's plays. It's like this thick, and I have Three Sisters bookmarked in it because it's great. I also really like The Bear, which I also got a chance to see, but I don't have a playbill for it. So, The Sweetest Swing in Baseball, this was probably the weakest production of all of them, but that's still... Oh, God, I keep turning my flash on. I'm so sorry. That's still not, dogging it very much because everything else was so high quality that it just... I don't know. It was something else. So this is about a mental patient who... it's a writer who's depressed, who... gets herself checked into a mental institution by claiming to be Darryl Strawberry, the baseball player. And it's good. It's funny. It kind of has One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest vibes, just not as dark. Yeah, it's really good. So My Three Angels is hilarious. This is also another one of my favorites. It's also another one of my favorite playbills because I really like the design. I like that there's an albino corn snake on the front along with the feather. But just like... you can just feel the difference between, like, this one, The Sweetest Swing in Baseball. Again, and this is what I mean. Like, some of my playbills are just this. Like, it's just a sheet. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll put that back in a second. But this, you can feel how scratchy that texture is. Like, it's just great. So, yeah, it's awesome. And then, like, the inside is, like, this... really neat salmon color, and it's got cast headshots and really in-depth bios. I mean, it's just one of my favorite playbills and one of my favorite shows I ever went to. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. And again, just like Three Sisters, they built an actual lake house set for the big stage that they were using. It was great. So here's Do Lord Remember Me. This is a slavery memoir play. It's pretty sad. It goes, into the lesser known, more, horrifying acts of, slave owners and the plantation lives and everything like that. Just really, it's unfortunate that this period of history happened. Yeah. And again, I don't know if this was like originally written, because this was, of all of these, like I've of course heard of all of these, but well, except for the Sweetest Thing in Baseball, but I just wonder if this was like an original project, because I do believe this was done by a primarily black school, which was awesome. It's always good to have those kind of voices in theater. So next we have Under Milkwood by Dylan Thomas. This is one of my weird ones. Like this and Death Trap were like my weirdest playbills for the longest time. And this is a radio play, or was originally a radio play, because Dylan Thomas himself is a poet, not really a playwright. So this was done with 8 actors, and there's about 50 characters. Now on a radio, that's not as impressive. You just change your voice a little bit. But these actors were going through a day in this town as like 50 different characters. And there were 8 students, 8 college seniors, just doing scene changes, costume changes, character changes in like seconds. And it was amazing and brilliant. And I don't know how they pulled it off, but I left being very impressed. I think this, The American Plan, and My 3 Angels were my 3 favorites of this period. And then you got to The Zoo Story, which was ours, which we were last, because of course we were. But yeah, this was my professor and one of his friends, who is a union actor, acted this out. This is 2 men meet at a park bench and kind of philosophize about life before, spoiler, the old man gives the other guy a knife and just kind of charges at him until he stabs him, and then he dies on the park bench, and the student's like, oh fuck, shit, what do I do? And runs away. But it's very cool. And I loved being on the set for this. I helped build the set and everything. I filmed it, too. I filmed it for a credit. And the thing that makes me sad is, like, the professor's credited, his friend is credited, and then it's like, cast and crew, ICC Theater Guild. And I'm like, you couldn't say our names? Like, we have names, but it's fine. Okay, so for the next year, the Kennedy Center, we applied again, because you nominate your productions for this to go and compete. And I think The American Plan won this year. But we went up with The Mad Woman of Shiloh and The Way of All Fish. The Way of All Fish was terrible. I didn't like it at all. But The Mad Woman of Shiloh was pretty good. The way that the one character talks about, how he's always rich, and if he throws away 10 diamonds in a river, they show up in the bellies of 10 fish that he eats. And that monologue is really funny and cool, and he rallies, basically the whole town's against him, and then he like rallies them to his side by giving that speech. I just thought it was hilarious. But I don't think we ended up qualifying. I think one other school in our area ended up going instead. Radio Days by Lum and Abner. Lum and Abner were a radio duo from the town that I went to college in. And again, I don't have any more Kennedy Center stuff, because I was only in that community college for 2 years. So the first year we went and saw those. And then the second year we were going to do this, but then we ended up not going. And then I graduated. So when you're not a college student, you don't get to go to that. So the Lum and Abner Festival event, this was fantastic. I love this. Just because it's neat and it's cool to see the old-timey radio things. Like they did the actual commercials that you would do. They had like the actual sound effects, and we're going to get to that over here in 2020 here in a second with how much I really like that aesthetic and everything. So this was good. They did this every year. They had the Lum and Abner Festival dedicated to these guys, where they would have like lumberjacks come out, and they would have craft shows, and they would just have all sorts of fun stuff. Like there was a log rolling thing that you could do that the fire department supervised so you didn't drown. It was a lot of fun. And I don't know why I only went that 1 year, because I was in that town for 2 years for college. I only went that first year. So next we have Annie Get Your Gun. Loved this musical, loved this production. My friend's mom was Annie, and it was a lot of fun. They actually had they put a lot of effort into the effects and the props and everything. All the trick shots and everything were done with like actual like blanks, sound effects and stuff. Like they weren't pointing them at each other, but like whenever they're having the shooting competitions, they're actually shooting off blanks at the targets, and I thought that was really neat. And this is another one that has, like The Odd Couple, it just has a bunch of sponsors in it. Oh no, this one's falling apart. Oh no. Dare I risk it? But then it has Playbill, Annie Get Your Gun. There's Jen as Annie Oakley, Tim as Frank Butler. Just a great show. I hope that they're doing good. I hope that they're still acting. I think Jennifer still is. Then we have Airline. This was done by the Summer Children's Festival. This was as good as a play meant for kids can be. It was done by high school students and middle school students for high school students and middle school students. So you're gonna get what you get with that. It was okay, but again, like at least I got a playbill out of it. Come back to the Five and Dime Jimmy Dean, which was mediocre. Maybe it had just too much nuance that didn't sink into like 19-year-old me's head at the time, but I just was not about it, and kind of walked away from it feeling kind of disappointed. This is actually not in town. This is actually the next town over. And then after that, we did Grease. Grease is great. You can't go wrong with Grease. I think actually I mixed these up because it should be, because that's 2014. This is 2012. This should be in front of these, actually, now that I think about it. Not sure why I mixed that up. So this should actually be in front of all of these because this is 2012 and then college was 2013. But anyway, so we have like 2013 to 2014. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. Now I'm bothered that my stuff is not in order. Because, that's 2011 to 2012, which was my college year, and then 2012, and then it would be these. It'd be 2012, then the Neowalla, then that. Okay, good. Got that cleared up. But Grease is a great show. It's a classic. You can't go wrong with it. Young Frankenstein, also great. Also classic. Can't go wrong with it. I prefer the Mel Brooks film, but who doesn't? It's Mel Brooks. I'm going to kind of skip over the Neowalla plays just because they're so big and bulky. Like, it's hard to go through them. So, Honk, this was okay. It was kind of forgettable. It was The Ugly Duckling, but as a musical, there's not really much you can do with that. This is the Marching Band Festival for my sister, who is a flautist, and love that for her. Congratulations. I think she's an EMT now. So 12 Angry Jurors. This is a rename of 12 Angry Men. I don't know why they named it 12 Angry Jurors, but whatever. It's fine. This is a great play. It's kind of funny in a morbid kind of way. Then you have Midsummer's Night's Dream, which Midsummer's Night's Dream, classic. My friend Chelsea was in this. She played Puck. So she encouraged me to go out for it, but I was like, no, I'm too busy. And I had to work a lot. The Shakespeare Project, this was not great. This was the same production that did Come Back to the Five and Dime and 12 Angry Men here. And it was okay. It was dated and cringy, and it was just weird. I don't know. It didn't work. Damn Yankees. This is also really good. It's not Bob Fosse, but that's hard to beat, so you can't criticize it for not being Bob Fosse. Then you have The Little Mermaid, which is great, but it's not the Disney film. A lot of these, now, for a good minute, I was only able to go see the Neowalla plays. So, like I got a few in 2015, and then I saw Damn Yankees, and then from like 2015 to like 2019, I didn't see anything except for the Neowalla plays, and I feel really bad about that. So, Little Mermaid, Mary Poppins, and Addams Family. And those are all great shows, but they're also safe. Like, they're not playing any risks. And that's something that the Neowalla Festival doesn't really like to do. They don't like to take risks, which is fine. So then we have the second time that I saw Three Sisters. I prefer the first version, but that's really unfair to the production of this because this was done by a 2-year school and that was done by a 4-year university that got to build an entire set based on money used for the festival, and this was just a regular production. So, but it was after I saw The Addams Family, and then I was like, I need to go see this because if I don't go see this, I'm going to lose the groove. And after that, I made a point to go to every single play in 2019. And as you see, here we go. So, also at the end of the year, we had Almost Maine, which was also really good. It's about this town called Almost Maine, about a bunch of people having misconnections, and it was really good. I liked it. It was nice. Then there's a missing one here. This should be title of show. However, I don't know where that playbill went. I've moved these so many times and gone through so many different binders. I must have just misplaced it. But yeah, between Almost Maine and She Kills Monsters should be title of show. And I've been talking to my theater professor about getting some of the playbills that I'm missing. And title of show is like the only one. But, you know, if I can get some extra ones too, that'd be nice. But yeah, so title of show is great. It's funny. It's actually coming up in 2021, so I'm going to get it again, but it just bothers me that it's not here. It should be here. Then you have She Kills Monsters, and I have all of these scanned too, so I'll actually like put up the scan for title of show, and you'll see what I mean. But right after that is She Kills Monsters. This is great. This is about a girl whose sister dies in a car accident or commits suicide. I forget which. And then she kind of finds this old D&D manual, takes it to this comic book nerd guy, and they kind of play the campaign, and she finds out a lot about her sister, like the fact that her sister was a lesbian and a bunch of other fun things, and you know, how much she looked up to her, and, you know, the people that bullied her, and she ends up, like, confronting the bullies and, like, beating the shit out of them. It's great. It's really funny. But the funniest part of this show was that Tiamat here, the five-headed dragon, that anyone from D&D knows, was not done with puppets. Normally, this show is done by puppets. If you look up a trailer for this show on YouTube, you'll see She Kills Monsters uses puppets for Tiamat's heads. They didn't do that. They used 5 people standing in a group, like this, like literally like this. Normal clothes, just walking towards the characters like roar, and every time they'd hit a head, the head would go and the person would fall over. It was so unintentionally hilarious. I just couldn't. I was like, no, that's so low budget and campy, but it worked. It was so funny. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Plus, I really enjoy this playbill. It's one of the more colorful playbills that I own. I also really like Almost Maine for that same reason. It's just colorful and pops. You know, it's not just bland and brown. So yeah, She Kills Monsters. Next we have Annie. I actually went back to the town that I went to college in because I wanted to see this. And oh my god, this playbill is really thick. Like, there's all of Annie. There's She Kills Monsters. Like, She Kills Monsters is one of my playbills that's just one sheet. Annie is like this thick of a book. That's not the only one I have that's like that. But again, Annie has a huge cast. So of course, everyone gets their little cast bio and stuff. It's really nice. I love this show. And it ran for a long time. It ran for like 2 weeks. So I was able to get back to that town to watch Annie and support my friends from college and my teachers and all that other fun stuff. Next, we have the Play Labs for the William H. Theater Festival. This is what I was talking about. This was, even though I've been in this town for like 6 years, this was the first year I went because this was the first year I was going to every single theater production I could, seriously. And again, birthday. So for my birthday, I went and watched the Play Labs. This is also a really thick book because this was like 30 plays in one. Like, quite literally 30 plays in one. But yes, but this was also where I met the guest of honor for the production, Octavio Solis, who is a playwright and author in his own right, and the creative director of Coco, which is why we did the whole Day of the Dead themed thing for his tribute packet, which again is a book. Like it's not even it's an actual book. This went into everything we did for the theater festival. And maybe one day I'll go through this and like talk about it. But for now, just suffice to say, we watched like 3. So the Playlab Playbill is like 30 shows in one. This is like 6 shows in one. So I kind of wish that they were separate individual playbills, but that's just me being petty. And if they were separate individual playbills, I would need more than one binder. So this is the day Aliens Attack Fairfield. This is the children's summer festival, or not summer festival, but the summer theater. So for about a month, they do. They originally do 3 musicals. It's 3 weeks of musicals, but for this one, they decided to do a play called The Day Aliens Attacked Fairfield, which is a cute little play where, they're in this town that nothing happens ever, and then they get suddenly invaded by aliens, and it's just 3 aliens that are harmless, and they're after a sandwich recipe that the main character's grandpa makes. Spoilers. But it's a cute show. Then 101 Dalmatians Jr. This show was done so quick, it was hilarious. Like, I sat down, and they basically speed ran the entire plot of 101 Dalmatians. Got this done in like 20 minutes. Although, to be fair, this was the pre-K to first grade show. So everyone but all the dogs were played by little kids. And then like the adult characters were played by like first graders. So it was fine. It was cute. And then finally you had the high schoolers, like the juniors and seniors, doing whoops, hold on, let me fix this. There we go. You had all of the high schoolers do Beauty and the Beast Junior, which this was amazing, and it was a wonderful show. I really liked it. There was a lot of energy. There was the great costumes, great set design, and I always love how they get the Beast to transform. Spoilers: it was 2 actors in this one. One played Adam, one played the Beast, but it was good. It was really funny. Or not funny, but fun. Then you had Frozen Jr. for the Coffeyville Children's Summer Theater, which is the town like adjacent to us. It's like, it looks like that. I'm here, Coffeyville's here. This was okay. They tried their best. I'm not a huge fan of Frozen anyway, so I can't really knock them. But I will say that I've been kind of disappointed with every show I go in Coffeyville. And then we have the 24-hour plays. These were student-written, student-directed. So this is like 6 or 7 plays in one. So, but it was really great. A lot of fun to watch and do that. Then you have Why Torture is Wrong and the People Who Love Them. This was okay. I really feel like it could have ended on the first act, but I can't hate this playbill. Like, this playbill is beautiful, and it's just one of those one-sheet playbills that I kind of complain about. But, man, it's glossy, for one. Like, it's not just, like, paper. It's actually, like, really glossy. And it has, like, the whole, like, this production contains sex, drugs, torture, racism, Jane Fonda, alcohol, tennis, butterflies, porn, guns, Fresca, which is hilarious when you consider The Boys on Netflix. Like, this, we did this before that show happened. Like, you want a Fresca? And just, man, hilarious in hindsight. But, and then finally we have Shrek the Musical. Well, not finally, because we're still going to get into 2020 a little bit. But we have Shrek the Musical, which was the Neowalla play that we did before COVID shit in our mouths. 2020 was going to be Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And I'm still sad that never happened. But, yeah, so that's 2008 to 2019's worth of productions. But going back to this a little bit, this could have ended on the first act. The second act has her like going like, oh, what if everything was different than how it went, so nobody got hurt and nobody got tortured, because the whole thing is this huge misunderstanding that the boyfriend is a government spy and all this other crap. It's really weird, but oh, damn it. It's really weird. I think it could have ended on the first act and been fine as like this brutal comedy. And then of course you have Shrek, and that's it for 2019. Now going on to 2020, we have Glass Menagerie, which is my favorite play of all time. Well, this is technically 2019, but I don't have any more room. As you can see, I don't have any more room, and I can't put it in here because it slides around too much. So This was the final show of 2019, to be honest. If I had known what was going to be happening the next year, I really would have treasured this a lot more, because the Glass Menagerie is my favorite play of all time. This was a wonderful production of it, even though the playbill is just this simple, non-glossy playbill with just, like, there's the cast, there's the director bio, there's the guest artist, musician. But yeah, this was a great production and a great play, and I love the Glass Menagerie, and I always will. But since I'm out of space, I'm technically honoring it because it's my favorite and because it holds a special place in my heart by putting it in the 2021 binder, or the 2020 to 2021 binder, just because it's that unique to me, and I love the show and I love the production, and yeah. And the playbill is also really nice. I love these silhouette arts, but then also you have like the doily curtains. The two-tone beige against the black is really good. The unicorn glass animal there, the way it's just done is just great. Then for January of 2020, you have Silent Sky, which was a play about, it's Hidden Figures, pretty much. So you have that, the untold heroes of NASA, and it's great. It's a beautiful show. And again, I'm just kind of melancholic about all of this because this year could have been so much more, and it just wasn't. Because, and then we have Newsies. This was March, and you know what that means. But this was actually done up like an actual newspaper, and I really like it. And like when I received it, I wish that I could display it without the fold. Like I really wish that I just had a thing where I could just keep this, because it's got the texture of newspaper, it's got ads like a newspaper. It's just so fun. But unfortunately, I had to fold it in half to get it to fit in its respective sleeve. But yeah, Newsies. And then a long, long way away, we have, in October 2020, we had the Anna plays. These are student-written, student-produced. They're done in honor of a teacher of William Inge's named, I forget her last name, but yes. So this was done at the band show, open air, so social distancing and all that, masks. Yeah, that was pretty much it. And then finally, we have a 1940s Christmas Carol, which was also done around the same time. And let's see, when was this? This was October 2nd. This was October 23rd. And this was written by Dr. Page, my friend Dr. Page, directed by Professor Molnar, my friend Paul. And it was great. It was a radio show. It's about this family that gets snowed in on a radio, and they have to use their own sound effects and everything because their soundboard guy is not able to make it. And they have this really cute Christmas time fun with each other. And, it's creative, it's inventive. And again, it was written by one of my friends and directed by one of my friends. So I just really like it. I just hate that the season, like I got 2 plays in. I got January and March, and then the pandemic happened, and then I got 2 in October, and then that was it. So 2021 has already shown to be a much better year for theater and a much better year for humanity overall. So I'm very excited to see where that all goes. I already have like 7 playbills for you to show off, but I'm going to stop at 2020. And 2021 will be its own year, its own video. And I'll keep doing that going forward from 2022 to, well, whenever I stop kicking. So thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. See you later.